of Telangana. This is the second class or second day in our workshop. It is not a lecture series, but it's a workshop. Workshop in the sense all the practicing advocates learn and hone their skills, in handling cyber crimes. The very aim and mission of Yagna Legal Academy, headed by Sridevi Madam and Bhaskar Garu and the team, have come forward to educate as a corporate social responsibility to help each other, while sharing is caring is the concept, and also bridge the gaps of the current legal requirements with the appropriate knowledge and court craft and pleadings and practices in handling cyber crimes. In the Mili, we purported or we planned to knock each other so that actual cases may come out, because unless until we really encounter, we don't know the enemy. So cybercrime is such an evolving platform where today you think that this is an act with a mens rea, that is guilty mind. Tomorrow same thing would not be applicable in a different context. So the context sets the stage, the context changes everything, and the text in the context steers the way till the actual crime is committed or offense is committed, turning into actus reus. Mens rea transforming to actus rea. So that's the concept. Basically, on the first day, we interacted with each other, opening the floor to everybody to freely talk and share their views as well as their insights and their understanding and the gaps which they have, all have, we have, so that the bridge is narrowed down by the time we end this 10-day workshop. Today, as per the topic, we are trying to educate ourselves on the e-commerce and digital signatures, which go hand in hand for its confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and non-repudiation. So, these terminologies I want you to be abreast so that we handle the cases appropriately and collect the related evidences. These evidences are a must. What is the evidence now? We fall back onto Evidence Act, Indian Evidence Act 1872, while the new law has come into picture as Bharatiya Sakshya Adhinam. So the basic foundations or fundamentals remain same, while the evolution of the context is changing because it's a dynamic, no more static. Moreover, every transaction is on a web space or a cyberspace that includes transactions with mobiles. No more personal digital assistants, which we talked about. No more inter uh, or intercommunications with the basic devices. Now we are in advanced areas where e-commerce issues are cropping up, and we discussed in the first class mostly on the bank transactions and issues with the bank. Why? Because as per the statistics of the cyber crimes, 80% are related to banking transactions. Likewise, if you go by statistics of the crimes happening in India, and that too in UP and in Karnataka, the volume is different, the rate of crimes is different, but at the same time, all these crimes are landing up to banking transactions only. So that's why I harped upon the day one to, what do you say, browse or take a glance at the situation where all are educated, and banking crimes or banking transactions to be understood first before getting into the details of point to point communication. So I had dwelled with payer payee concept, sender receiver concept, and the back end, front end being the, say this is a laptop, we are entering into a screen, and when we are trying to do a funds transfer, we first of all assign a payee or configure a payee. While configuring, we are trying to put the name or a nickname, then which bank, then IFC code, then account details, and the rest. So a payee is recognized, a payee registered, a payee is configured. So likewise, the cyber crime does not happen to a third party unless until it is configured. So simply on the top of the hand or top of the world, anybody cannot what do you say, siphon out the funds or do any banking transaction. I will narrate different types of cyber crimes also, which we focused or narrowed down to only three cyber crimes, but many are there. They umpteen. Like as the dynamic field is so evolving, we have countless number of cyber crimes, countless number of cyber crimes. While again limiting ourselves to banking transactions and banking fraud, we should understand the end-to-end communication. Now, what is the e-commerce which is going on without banking transaction or without bank? There is no transaction. Then they are trying to isolate this banking system itself by decentralized finance. So that you do as a homework. Last day we can discuss more on that decentralized finance. The thing is, now today we are trying to focus on e-commerce. So as we discussed, the management and organizing team that now 71 now join. Before people join, uh, I leave the floor open to discuss any previous issues which you have put in the chat box on day one so that we can resolve. And by resolution or in the process of resolution, all may get benefited and it increases our awareness and uh, as a icing on the top of the cake, other fellow advocates also get to know how to handle them. So now the floor I open before getting into our main topic today. The floor is open for resolution of day one's issues as well as any new problems which you missed out to express because there was paucity of time. Then many people were talking. So I would like to uh, share my experiences, try to solve or resolve whatever it is possible so that other fellow advocates and participants may get to know. Please speak up and write in the chat box so that I can also get to see and madam also can collate. Okay.
Yes, sir. Now all of you are unmuted. You can have word with sir. You can discuss with sir.
Sir, this is Deepthi, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Sir, I have a question, very basic question, but it is a big doubt for me.
No problem.
Yes, as an advocate, where do I come up in the picture? Like, how would a client come to us? Or do we represent as a for the victim or the person who is been for the accused? Where do we, what is our role as an advocate? And can you explain that, sir?
Sure, madam. Dipti madam, first of all, who is the victim in a cyber crime? You are a
Only
practicing
cyber
advocate in
crimes.
Cuba. No, no, no. We are dealing with cyber. The entire workshop is on cyber crime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, what all cyber crimes you know where
Yeah.
a victim is identified and then counsel for him is identified like Deepthi Madam who is practicing in Kukatpalli. You can share or anybody can throw up. See, the first curtain raiser or icebreaker I talked about, a friend just now got off the call from the phone, suddenly calls back with the same face, with the same face. Because I spoke, I took the example of, say, Ravinder and Sridhar. So, Jayakar, me, was talking to Srinivas, and third party is Ravinder. Srinivas is my good friend. We just got off the call, meaning we had a long conversations and we said bye bye also in a good note, or the conversation ended on a good note. Suddenly, Ravinder comes as a deep fake. We talked about deep faking. Okay, about 5 years back or 10 years back, there was no deep faking because AI did not pick up so well. Though AI, my MTech in '99 is AI madam. So at that time, deep faking was not there. But still, I'm trying to tell you is Srinivas just got off the call. Ravinder replaced the Srinivas with the same face and calling up Jayakar again. Jayakar, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to express my hard need. I needed 10,000 rupees because my mother is ill. Dipti madam, are you listening? Yeah. So this is what happened. Then Jayakar is surprised that till now you are okay. Then what happened in the instant? No, 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 I was feeling shy.
Sir, your
I could
voice
not.
is
Madam, I'm starting sitting at least moving my head, and my bandwidth is also through. It is the other
Better
side.
you remove your headphones, madam. Then you will listen. You can.
Yeah, it is the other side who have to take care of their network
probably,
bandwidth.
probably. Yeah.
So
Yes,
continuing on our discussion,
probably.
madam,
Right.
Dipti madam, the thing
Yes.
is, who is the victim now? Jayakar is the victim because Srinivas is calling me and saying, please for transfer 10,000 rupees as Srinivas' mother is sick. So now I'm an individual, no more advocate or cybercrime handler, or forget it. But now I'm perplexed and I'm juxtaposed and say, and the duped Ravinder or duped Srinivas is pressurizing me not to think, exploiting my emotional upset. Okay, I'm emotionally upset because I know him in depth, and suddenly Srinivas is expressing his mother is ill, and could be possible that Srinivas' mother was ailing, and we are good friends. We are exchanging about our health conditions. Now I am emotionally hijacked. So I am the victim. I know Deepthi madam from Kukatpalli will handle my case, so I'll approach you. Simple as that. Now, how do you go about? How do you go about? The moment I approach you as an advocate, you will ask me a question. Have you, meaning, my transaction is done. I lost my 10,000. But say, because first day you have attended, right? First day you attended, madam. That's what. Now Jayakar discovers that it's a dupe. Is Ravinder is the one who duped me, posing himself as Srinivas, and I discovered I lost my 10,000 because I emotionally hijacked and I paid off. I paid off also. Over. This is a crime committed. Now, what does the Deepthi madam come into rescue? Or to me? Immediately, I did not approach you in person, but I called you. What should I do? Then you immediately you suggest me call up the 1960 number and inform the police to freeze the account. To freeze. The moment I transfer, I discovered that it is gone, and my SMS from my bank has come that 10,000 has been debited, and Srinivas appeared saying that I am okay, I never called you. The crime is established. So now Srinivas is out of scene, only Jayakar, the victim, is in scene, trying to get back his money or trying to help himself. Now, can we continue, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is what we talked about. Now you just asked me how to go about. So I now on your direction or your help, I'm ignorant. I was ignorant, but you suggested me to call up 1960. You suggested me to call 100 and inform the nearest police station, and they have in turn called the bank, and you have in turn called the bank also, and the banker vouched because there is a RBI guidelines, and the banker vouched that don't worry, Mr. Jaker, your amount is with us, not yet transferred to the Ravinder, not Srinivas. Ravinder. Because Ravinder only is manipulating Srinivas and trying to siphon off Jayakar's funds via Srinivas as a deep fake to Ravinder's account. Ravinder is the culprit. Victim is Jayakar. So, first thing what you have done, we have called the police, we have called the toll-free number and informed the bank. So three agencies are different, but all should work in tandem. Tandem in the sense all should work together so that my funds are safe, not yet transferred to Mr. Ravinder, who is the culprit or who is the perpetrator. So now banker says, now the first thing is the earlier the better. Jaker informed the banker because somebody was asked. I asked the question on day one that do you think that if I get an SMS that 10,000 is debited, my amount is gone? People were responding in a different tone, saying that saying that saying that this is not the 1 second.
You are muted, sir. Please kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you. So, thing is, we have done earlier the better. I told why early is the immediate action by the banker should have access to freeze because you have not given sufficient time to freeze your account so that transfer does not happen. So earlier the better is the first key or the first step. So for all our friends, to their clients who are in panic, they come to us tapping our legal doors so that we can help them out in safeguarding their funds not to be transmitted out. If not, part of it which are frozen by the bank can be again retrieved. This is the first three steps, madam. Dipti madam, you are there, madam?
I'm
Okay.
here, sir.
Yes.
Listen to you. I'm
Oh,
writing the
okay.
notes also.
Good, good. Okay. What is the next question, madam? Then the course will now what happens I should tell you. Now the banker is written a notice by the police station. You understood? And you go and file your petition. You, in the sense, you and the victim, that is Jayakar, we become a same party. We go to the police station, giving our credentials, date and time of the offense. That is usual procedure. Same thing. So all we need to do is our giving our credentials so that the bank manager is writing to the head office or the uh, collator of the bank, meaning there is a central bank concept. You know that. So if it is a interstate or something interbranch, we have an intermediary. Not intermediary also we have to discuss, but that is part of the major topics. But I'm talking that is schedule one and 66 onwards, whereas intermediate is also discussed and that comes later. But here intermediary means the interbank transaction intermediary.
సార్ ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉంది సార్.
చెప్పండి రమాకృష్ణ గారు.
ఎస్ సార్, రామకృష్ణ సార్. విషయం ఏంటంటే ఒక సస్పెక్ట్ లింక్, ఒక లింక్ మీద క్లిక్ చేయగానే విక్టిమ్ దగ్గర ఉన్న ఫస్ట్ బ్యాంక్ నుంచి సెకండ్ బ్యాంక్స్ నుంచి 3 డిఫరెంట్ బ్యాంక్స్ నుంచి అమౌంట్ అనేది డెబిట్ అయిపోతుంది, సస్పెక్టెడ్ బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. అది ఎలా పాసిబుల్ అవుతుంది? మై క్వశ్చన్ అర్థమైంది సార్?
మళ్ళీ చెప్పండి.
సస్పెక్టెడ్ అక్యూజ్డ్ ఒక లింక్ పంపిస్తాడు మన మొబైల్ కి. ఆ లింక్ ఓపెన్ చేయగానే విక్టిమ్ కి డిఫరెంట్ అకౌంట్స్ ఉండడం, డిఫరెంట్ అకౌంట్ ఉన్నా వాళ్ళ అకౌంట్ లో 3-4 బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్స్ నుంచి కూడా డబ్బులు అనేవి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాయి. ఎలా పాసిబుల్ అవుతుంది? విక్టిమ్ నేమ్ పైన 3-4 అకౌంట్స్ ఉంటే కూడా ఆ అకౌంట్స్ అన్నిటిలో నుంచి డబ్బులు వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాయి.
ఓకే, ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ సార్. రామకృష్ణ గారు, థింగ్ ఈజ్ రామకృష్ణ ఆర్ రామకృష్ణ?
రామకృష్ణ, రామ్ అండ్ కృష్ణ.
That's good. Okay, so thing is due to advancement in technology, funneling, sir, funneling. మనం ఫనల్ ఎట్లా యూజ్ చేస్తాం? ఇట్లా పోయడానికి ఫనల్. ఓకే, కొలేటింగ్ అకౌంట్స్ అండ్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మీది కామర్స్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండా?
కామర్స్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ సార్.
వెరీ గుడ్. సో గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ కంపెనీస్ మనం వెయిట్ గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ కంపెనీస్ బ్యాలెన్స్ షీట్ ఎలా చేస్తాం? All their profit and P&L all will be transferred to one head, correct?
Yes, sir.
So how are we managing all those accounts? We అంటే డిజిటల్ చెప్తున్నా. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇదివరకేమో జర్నల్స్ మెయింటైన్ చేసేవాళ్ళము. ఇది గ్రూప్ కంపెనీ ఏ, గ్రూప్ కంపెనీ బి, గ్రూప్ కంపెనీ సి, ఆల్ సి టాటా గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ కంపెనీస్లో టిస్కో, టాటా మెటల్స్, ఇంకోటి టాటా మోటార్స్, వీటన్నిటి కన్సాలిడేటెడ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ షీట్ చేస్తామా లేదా? హౌ ఆర్ వి కన్సాలిడేటింగ్? Likewise, all the three accounts with the same Jekar are linked to one transaction and at one go siphoned off through a funnel. Right? Now comes again to which account? Again Ravinder. Let us say the culprit is the Ravinder. So Ravinder ki ayane house bank untadi okati. హౌస్ బ్యాంక్ అన్నది అంటే ఈ కన్ఫిగరేషన్లో హౌస్ బ్యాంక్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ హౌస్ బ్యాంకు ఇప్పుడే రాదు. మన హౌస్ బ్యాంకు సే ఐసిఐసి బ్యాంక్ అనుకోండి, జేకర్స్ హ్యాజ్ ఐసిఐసి బ్యాంక్. మై బ్యాంక్ విల్ రిటైన్ ది అమౌంట్ till some credentials are authenticated. Once a handshake between the sender and the receiver by duly authenticating the request, then only then the money is transferred. Till then it is withheld. So the withheld amount or withhold అంటే withhold చేస్తారు కావాలని. ఎందుకు? టు అసర్టైన్ అండ్ ఎన్ష్యూర్ ది క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ ఆర్ అథెంటికేటెడ్ అంటే కన్ఫర్మ్డ్. సో ఇది అయ్యే వరకు దే విల్ వెయిట్. ఈ వెయిటింగ్ పీరియడ్లోనే బ్యాంక్ హ్యాస్ టు యాక్ట్ దెన్ వెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రిపోర్టెడ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అ ఫ్రాడ్లెంట్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్. అండర్స్టూడ్ సార్? ఎట్లా అయిపోతున్నాయని మీ ప్రశ్న. కానీ ఇది నేను నార్మల్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ చెప్తున్నా. నార్మల్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్లో దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్. ఒకటి మూడు ఎట్లానే చెప్పేసినా కదా. ఇప్పుడు మనం కన్సాలిడేటెడ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ షీట్ ఎట్లా చేస్తామో దీన్ని అదే కాన్సెప్ట్. వి క్యాస్కేడ్, వి కాన్ఫిగర్.
Small help. I need small help.
మేడం అదే కొంచెం మ్యూట్ ఎవ్రీబడి అండ్ అన్మ్యూట్ ఓన్లీ రామకృష్ణ మేడం. సారీ అబౌట్ దట్. నో, now you got the first answer. Second part is we are using technology and the perpetrator also equally having the freedom to use technology కదా. మనం ఎంత ఫాస్ట్గా ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ ఇప్పుడు I'll tell you. You have done any funds transfer in the bank, sir? Internet banking transaction చేశారా? రామకృష్ణ, ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ టు యూ. అరే అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి సార్. మేడం కైండ్లీ అన్మ్యూట్ రామకృష్ణ గారు. నౌ యు ఆర్ అన్మ్యూటెడ్. ప్లీజ్ స్పీకప్. చేశాను కదా. వాట్ ఆర్ ది పాసిబిలిటీ? సి పేమెంట్ మెథడ్స్ చెప్పండి
సార్. అకౌంట్ హోల్డర్ నేమ్ అడుగుతుంది, అకౌంట్ నంబర్ అడుగుతుంది, కన్సర్న్ బ్యాంక్ ఐఎఫ్ఎస్సి కోడ్.
ఆన్సర్ టు ద క్వశ్చన్ సార్. Precious time you have to respect others. Wire transfer, cash, check, ivi payment methods. Likewise ACH, automatic clearing house. These are the payment methods. Now how it happens? RTGS, NEFT, IMPS. IMPS is the instant mode of payment system. Right?
Yes, sir.
NFT takes time. RTGS also takes time. So again, which path, which method? Again, two blocks are there here. RTGS, NFT, IMPS. RTGS, NEFT,
IMPS.
IMPS. Then payment methods. automatically. These are the payment methods, these are the modes of transfer. So which one the culprit is using also comes into question and matters. So now, because of the advancement in technology, he might go for IMPS because it's the fastest one out of all the three. Then it is the
Yes, sir.
wire. So these two combination make the transaction in a SWIFT. Again, mala SWIFT code veru. SWIFT code 910 even interbank transactions. Aware
Interbank
international
transaction.
transactions. SWIFT code. So now coming to your question, when this is instantly being transferred, still it will not be transferred to him after gap of time. But if we are happy and we are clever enough, or we are active enough, or we are panicked and immediately call up the bank, they can freeze it. Now,
Yes, sir.
a freezing amount kuda, suppose day one, Ramaprasad gar, Mir Ramakrishna Ramaprasad gar told one old man over a period of 1 month transferred 10 lakhs. Or
Yes.
1 crore over a period of 1 month. So, likewise, bits and chunks, okay, chunks of money would be flowing to the perpetrator over a period of time. Over a period of time, as and when he initiates the transaction. Whenever he initiates for transfer, it happens. So, that's why on day one, we have focused much on banking transaction because 80% of the cyber crimes are banking related.
Banking transaction.
That's all I told. That's all I told. Like a lover having a rage over another boyfriend of the same girl. That's also a cyber crime. Many are there.
Yes.
Cyber bullying, cyber stalking. So many are there. DDoS, somebody was taking. Distributed denial of services. I always
Sir,
tell video don't.
another question is, sir, another question. Now the cybercrime detective department are using money laundering techniques. ఇప్పుడు సస్పెక్టెడ్ నా అకౌంట్ నుంచి ఒక 10 lakhs ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేయించుకున్నాడు ఇన్ ఫ్రాడ్లీ రాంగ్ఫుల్లీ గెయిన్.
Okay.
ఆ 10 lakhs ను వేరే వాళ్ళ అకౌంట్ లోకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేస్తున్నాడు. దట్ టు ఈజ్ రిలేటివ్ అకౌంట్స్ ఆర్ రెస్టారెంట్స్ ఆర్ కిరాణా జనరల్ స్టోర్ ఎనీవేర్. He is
Okay.
transferring online.
Okay.
The cybercrime detective department's freezing the accounts last transferred to the account amount to the account.
Right.
అది ఎలా అది వాళ్ళకి ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి అన్యాయం జరుగుతుంది.
There is no possibility. Atlanti em ledu. It is part of the crime.
ఎస్ సార్, ఈజ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది క్రైమ్. కానీ
అంతే.
ఇప్పుడు రెస్టారెంట్ లో వాళ్ళది కూడా రెస్టారెంట్ లో వాళ్ళకి తెలియదు ఇది ఫ్రాడ్ అమౌంట్ అని చెప్పేసి, ఇతను రాంగ్ఫుల్ గా గెయిన్ చేసుకున్నాడు అనే అమౌంట్ అని చెప్పేసి. కానీ సైబర్ క్రైమ్ వాళ్ళు అతని అకౌంట్ కూడా ఫ్రీజ్ చేస్తున్నారు.
Naturally. Abatement అంటే ఏం సార్?
అబెట్మెంట్ కిందకి ఎలా వస్తుంది సార్? ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్
See, I'll tell you.
Sir.
Watching a murder does not absolve you for 302. You are not the murderer, but you are witnessing the crime. You are
Yes, sir.
equally participant. You are equally participant. Likewise, the money is siphoned through this guy as a hop అంటే ఒక jumping.
No, sir, I will explain one example. Sir.
But
I
don't
am the
take others'
suspect.
time, Ramakrishna Garu. We'll have lengthier discussions at the end because time is precious now. It is 8:48. We have not yet covered my subject today about digital signatures and e-commerce. First 15
Right.
minutes I have allocated. We have many, but until I will tell you, this is also a crime. You are hijacking the session.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
Yeah,
thank you. We'll catch
but
up. We'll catch up. You
Yes.
note down, and send to Sridev madam, who is collating all the cyber crimes and all the narratives where different crimes have to be handled accordingly. But ultimately, I told you, right, first day one, what was the need for IT Act to bring in place when we have already IPC, CRPC, and Evidence Act then before 2000? So now that's gone. 2008 has gone. 2021 has gone, and then 2022 some amendments have come, and now in 2024 new laws altogether. Anyway, we'll catch up. And shall we go to our session, madam, today? Shall I give me presentation mode so that I will show my slides, so that we
You are
can jump into
permitted,
the
sir.
subject?
Now you are co-host. Now you are co-host. You
Yes,
can
madam. I'm
share.
trying to. I'm presenting my PowerPoint, madam. Just wait. So, is it visible, madam? Madam, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, okay. No response has come. That's right. Okay. So, in a brief, what we'll talk about is what is e-commerce. So, define e-commerce, any transaction or commerce transactions happening across the web, across the net, across the internet. So, is e-commerce and anything to do with commerce. Commerce is transaction in in terms of money, in terms of shipment, in terms of goods or services. Simple as that. A product can go, a service can go, and delivery happens. It is called order fulfillment. That comes to the definition of e-commerce. Now, brief history we talk about why a normal conventional commerce has taken a back seat, because overseas transactions is happening, global trade has come into picture, and world has become a global economy, and world has become a global village where hopping from one country to another country is a click of a mouse, as well as a transaction which happens from interbank transactions, interbank transfers, interbank communication, and banking communication systems are in place, and e-commerce is the platform, and transaction and backbone is the banking communication management as a platform. Now imagine a shopping cart and a globe around it to understand what is e-commerce. So that is one. Now, because it's all known, we'll come to the legal aspects. This is all what do you say, around the subject we are going, so that we are aware what is happening, what can be purported, what can be landing as a crime, and where do we pitch in as an advocate. Okay, madam. So only 74 are there. So uh, just now we are talking, as Ramakrishna Garu has raised an issue of many bank accounts of an individual, have been siphoned off at one instant. So, if I owe or letter of credit or real payment or advance payment or down payment for an order fulfillment order, I have to put 20% as down payment. Okay. Now, hearing the conversation over the net, some crimes I have to tell that head over shoulder or over the shoulder hearing, sneak peek, whispering, peeping software is there. Now we are transacting a business, but we are also making a call from a customer to a supplier to deliver, say, 10 laptops or 3 laptops for my 3 children. Simple as that. But hearing our transaction, Mr. B has to supply. Say, let us take example of Dell. I've called up the Dell and ordered. Then the supplying agent of Dell in Secondabad has heard me, taken my order, and he said, "Sir, to confirm your order, please deposit 20% of the order value." Now, I assume that my transaction, my phone call with the Dell customer support or Dell sales agency is secure. I'm under the impression, but they are already a sneak picker. Sneak picker is the conversation. Let us take example of our own governments who have telephone tapped their telephones. So it is as good as that. It is also crime. So it is a fraud here when the sneak peeker overhearing our teleconversation simply diverts. Now comes the phishing, smishing, and replacement swims app or bank account transaction. So what does he do? Dell service agent or shipping agent account number will be swapped with Ravinder. Ravinder is a poor culprit. So Ravinder has swapped the Dell delivery agent to his account. So where does my 20% go? No response. Okay, all are muted, I guess. So 20% goes to Ravinder account. I am under my debit also is shown. My debit also is shown. I got an SMS saying 20% of the order value, say 1 lakh means 20,000 has gone. I got an SMS. I'm very happy. And I get an SMS saying that 20% is received. And he configures his SMS also that we have received 20% as the down payment. In a day or two, we'll deliver your 3 laptops. Followed? So that's a fraud, established fraud. So where it happened? What is our platform? What is our domain? What is our arena? It is the e-commerce. Likewise, security breaches, trust issues. These are all the other common challenges in e-commerce, which when I discovered the person calls and says, "Sir, I have not yet received, but I have already got a debit note or debit notice." Then what would be my situation? I look worried in front of my laptop because I have already transferred 20,000, whereas the other guy is saying I have not received, but my SMS says 20%, 20,000 has been debited, and I received SMS, and I got a notice also, "Sir, your down payment is received." So I'm pretty worried. These are the challenges in e-commerce. Then trust issues. Security breaches, I told you. Secure transactions, security breaches. Now, just 2 days back, or there are many. Every day one is happening. One is happening. So Microsoft, I'm taking the example of Microsoft itself. They is engaged as a CloudStrike, who is a third party. Before that, some virus. Before that, some malware. Before that, some ransomware. So all these are happening out of security breaches, where my server has to establish a handshake with the next server or next presentation layer or the transacting laptop or any window of that screen has to make a handshake and has to confirm that Jaker is the authorized person to transact, authorized person to enter into Microsoft, enter into Dell to place the order, because I will pick up the types of laptop and choose one. So I have entered into their website and selected the item and made three items in my cart, and my cart delivery cart will, before checkout, my cart will say three numbers of different configurations. So as far as my order concerned, my transaction is through. There is no security breach. But delivery, there is also no security breach. But what happens the payment? There is a security breach. Why? A swapping has happened between the receiving account from the proper authorized Dell agentry to Ravinder. So that's a security breach. Now comes to trust issues. You can extrapolate same concept to trust issues. So I need not elaborate. So we'll go to next slide. One second, I'll let me drink some water. We'll go to what authenticates. Now, any transaction, suppose we are sending a document, duly signed, simple as that. Let us go from traditional, conventional, day to day basis that we send a document. So, a letterhead ordering or requesting Dell to supply us three laptops, and we specify the configuration, and we also make a mention of each laptop and the price which we have arrived at with a discount or whatever the price may be. So, and end of the letterhead, we have a signature part where we sign, and we have the addressing part where Dell customer delivery or Dell delivery agent is addressed, while we as a requester requesting to supply three laptops, we sign. Likewise, digital signature and e-signature also plays a same role in authenticating and handshaking and ascertaining and authenticating the two parties. What is the digital signature? So the signature you can assume in terms of visibility, you can take hand signature, take a copy, superimpose on a Word document, also holds good. But actual digital signature is not so. Little bit technology is involved, as we can ask the computer to generate our own digital signature, which would be a cipher text. It's called cipher text. Suppose I say my name is TJ Jacob, and same may not appear as a digital signature on my e-commerce transaction. Why? There are algorithms. So these, I'm getting into little technical aspects. You can stop me if you don't follow, but this is the reality. How does the digital signature is formed, embedded into our document, and transferred over along with our transaction over the net. Say we are using a calculator, and we don't know, it's beyond our capacity to calculate, say, 1,000 items into a factor with a decimal. That will be tough. Or simply we say 3.14 into 1000 means simply we'll remove the decimal, add the next of the zeros. It is not so simple. But if we are having different combining factors, then we write a formula to arrive at the figure. Why? The calculator calculates for us when we key in two numerals, say A plus B equal to C. So A is a different integer or a combining or combination of integers. B is also combination of integers. But C is beyond our mathematical ability for our common mind to calculate and give the result. Hence, we are taking the help of a calculator, which our own engineers or scientists have designed. We are using that. Likewise, this back end process is called algorithm. A plus B equal to C is the algorithm. Now, same way, how digital signature happens, a hash is again, is utilizing the backend algorithm to create a hash function of Mr. TJ Jacob, and it will be printed in terms of some numbers or in terms of codes, and that becomes our digital signature. So there are digital signature certifying authorities like THWART, THWART. Many agencies are there. Over a period of time, umpteen number of digital certifying agencies are come up who hold the certificates with a cost. Because I use the thought certificate and my validity of my certificate to embed on my transactional document holds good till that he will charge because he is the custodian and maintainer of that digital signature which I am utilizing to embed on my transacting document. Now, as per the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhinam, any photo also is a document, any generated image is also a document. Any now under the earth and under the sky, all are documents. Need not be a Xerox copy, need not be a original copy, all are documents. Likewise, these documents are embedded with my digital signature. That is what all the digital signature is all about. Now, how does the digital signature works? I have just explained. Now, what is the importance of digital signature? Now I'll tell you. Everybody knows, like you're all big people, matured enough, you sign, and your son also can identify, okay, this is my father Ramakrishna's signature. Likewise, this is Ramakrishna also can identify, this is my wife's signature. Ramakrishna's father also can identify, this is Ramakrishna's signature. How did they know? Because they are aware, and they are aware, but at the same time, as age continues to go, signature and the fonts, intonation, and the press and the pressure of some syllables may change over a period of time by virtue of the strength or weakening strength or age related. But still, either of the parties will understand. But what happens to digital signature? What happens to digital signature? Now, there is a concept called public key infrastructure. Public key infrastructure, in which there are two keys, private keys and a public key. Again, the algorithm comes into picture where the sender will encrypt my message with the public key. At the receiving end, the receiver will decrypt with my private key. Understood? Now, why I have put the illustration as a locked padlock with a key? This is what. So, public key infrastructure enables encryption and decryption. That's how they entrust, they confidentially understand, authorize the credentials by encrypting and by decrypting. This is the concept. So, how does the importance of the digital signature in e-commerce and what entrusts or ensures is that this cannot be decrypted by a third party because the public key, the private key has to be used for decrypting the message at the receiving end, and the public key infrastructure is little bit expensive but ensures safe transactions as well as effective communication and authorization, and the security aspect is non-repudiation. Now, at the receiving end, I'll have other slide also, but before that, I'm just trying to prompt you the terminologies and the technicalities involved. The receiving end says, Jacob, I did not receive. So the sender says, I have sent it. Likewise, 20,000 as a deposit or down payment I have given. I have the authority, I will show. This is what the SMS has come. So, non-denial, we cannot deny because it's happened. That's called non-repudiation. So, this ensures that, okay, one more example. I sent you a message in WhatsApp. Can tell, you can open up if you want. One check will come. What does it mean? My message has been transmitted. Two checks have come. My message has been opened and read. Now, these two also with color coding has a significance. What is the significance? Blue and red. If now, because of the Bharatiya Sakshi Adhinam and the IT Act and the nation's security which has come into picture, no offense meant any offense which is touching the emotional aspect of one religion to another, or one sex to another, one gender to another, one age group to another is offensive, then you are inviting trouble. So anything which is scanned and caught will have a blue check. So the moment you see two checks with blue color, end of the show, you are under tracking. You are being tracked by the government. Red means you will get a notice. So this is what happens in a WhatsApp. So this is all together about the transactions happening or one medium to another medium or one party to another party through a medium. Okay. So the typical example is locked padlock with a key. You have the key and he has the pad, or you yourself have locked the door with a keypad, which only you can open, or the key holder only can open the padlock. Followed? Now, what are the benefits of the digital signature? So I just explained you. It is increase the security, faster transactions, cost reduction, and legal compliance. So our perspective is legal compliance. So there are many regulatory frameworks in credit card transactions. I, as an auditor, I'm a CISA. I've done PCI audits, DSS audits in America. So, what is the PCI? Payment Card Industry. What is the DSS? Digital Signature Services. And these digital services means all transactions happening from credit card industry. So, what is the major players? Mastercard, Visa, likewise. So, they have their own algorithms. They have their own methodology for transferring funds from the one agency to other agency, be it bank or another organization, so that they have these secure transactions in place and they conform to a regulatory framework which we, suppose a merchant banker, has to conform to the regulatory requirements of the compliance. So RBI provides, in our terminology, RBI provides a regulatory framework. In America, Security Exchange Commission. In Europe, they have other ones. So now comes the legal compliance. When uh, see every day, in fact, you end of the show you have a audit report. End of the show or end of the month you have an audit report. The audit report outlines or reports the anomalies. These are to be sorted out within hours. So we have SLAs, service level agreements. The crime or the non-conformance report is reflecting that this particular part of the section is not conforming to the regulatory requirement, then you bridge the gap. Then the agreement of the third parties who are auditing agencies and complying agencies and confirming agencies. I'm also a quality consultant, Six Sigma Black. Why Six Sigma Black Belt? So process enhancement, process narrowing, efficiency, and authority and conformance to the regulatory requirement. These two are to be in tandem, the quality and the security. The conformance requirement to meet up with the regulatory framework. the regulatory requirement asks us to comply, conform to the requirements, setting certain rules which have to be followed. Otherwise, they'll give a non-conformance notice and will not be allowed to transact further. Such is the strictness in terms of payment card industry, because it is not one transaction or 10 transactions. It runs into millions of transactions, because Visa's MasterCard, like, is the major agency. Now UPI has come into picture, but prior to UPI, we have all credit cards, all debit cards are issued by Master and Visa cards, which I have done audit in America. So like that, legal compliance is the one which we as auditors have to do a audit and find out the non-conformance, list out in our audit report, and then audit report has to be seen by the oversight body, and oversight body comes into agency which is maintaining, and they have a service level agreement. It's called severity 1, severity 2, severity 3, severity 4. Severity 4 is the least to be attended, but severity 1 has to be critically attended, and the issue has to be closed within hours or if not minutes, because huge transactions take place, and this is not any operational transactions. These are money transactions which give a dent to the receiving bank or the sending bank. So it's critical. So CVRT 1 with SLA 1 you have to attend, and all the platinum consultants like me jump into the picture. I'm a CISA and a platinum consultant. So we jump into the picture, analyze, take the transactions, audit trail. We have an audit trail. Identify the transactions, stamp pads. We have set triggers. We have flags to set. Up to this, the transaction ended well. Up to this, the transaction went through. And this is where the hiccup started. And we get the glitches. We get glitches while we do the transactions. And that glitches have pointers to this agency, this agency, this agency, who again consolidate their transactions, and they give a trigger back, so that there are concepts like hot sites, warm sites, cold sites. Like this server fails, the load balancing technology immediately, because banking transaction can never be stopped. If this server is failing and the glitches have come and it is like limping, the immediately the transaction is moved to another hot site. Hot site means, madam, you want to continue or it stopped, madam? Okay, thank you. So I'm going into the technical details. So these this is what everything is encapsulated, everything is monitored by oversight body. That is what legal compliance board. So change control board and security board, all will be oversight boards, will be monitoring his transactions. Any untoward incident immediately brought to the notice, because it's not a single, it's millions of dollars which are crossing the continents. So these are the legal compliances which the basic stamp every document. I want to tell you to Google steganography. So and also bring Osama bin Laden's capture. So how it happened? It is one of the technology which digital signature also is using. What is steganography? Osama bin Laden was communicating over the net or over their whatever the communication medium is, through cell phones or whatever the medium is. He used to send some pictures. So of late, why this guy is sending pictures, raised eyebrows to the monitoring agencies, like our calls are tracked. Same way, intercontinental calls are also tracked. So this guy was sitting in Pakistan or whatever it may be. Uh, the American snoopers, snooping is they overlook any calls happening frequently or unexpected areas. That's why snooping happens. Here we can say call being tracked, or call like recent allegation on the past government that calls have been recorded, all calls have been tracked. Likewise, they discovered that images were being sent. Why? What purpose it serves when saying good morning with an image, good evening with an image? Then they see, they decipher. What is deciphering? They split. They are layers. Like what is superimposing? I okay. If just imagine a painting is displayed. I come and draw a line. What happened? I superimpose the painting with a line. Likewise, this image was being superimposed with some code, with some code with someone was receiving and sending also. That's called steganography. It's embedding code in an image. So then they split open the image. They are layers, right? They are layers of images. They split open the image and they found the code. And that was showing the coordinates. Coordinates, geographical positioning system. Like we, till the Google Maps have come, I have driven in America with a GPS system. Now we have Google Maps. I still have that GPS. In the last day, I will show you what I used in America to go to different locations. So what does it do? It communicates with the satellite and finds the coordinates, latitude and longitude, and identified the spot. Likewise, he was identified as a coordinate. Simple as that. So easy. Once the technology is broke open, they could pinpoint and catch him. So this is what the steganography and the communication and typical digital signature works, because the signature is embedded so into the document that it authenticates the sender and the receiver. Okay. So now that's the security part of it. And the efficiency is one, it's a split of a second. We have gigabits, terabytes of bandwidth, where it's a swift transaction. If a button is clicked, depending on the location across the globe, this transaction happens. Okay, I was mentioning about hashing. Hashing is nothing but the same algorithm which I was telling. Our TJ Jaikar is being hashed using an algorithm, and I have already mentioned about encryption and decryption, and also verification. Verification is verify that he is the right sender, he is the right receiver. That's called non-repudiating verification. Now, a flow chart illustrating the process. I just you could have imagined that A is the sender, B is the receiver, and his name is being transferred as a digital signature over a document requesting the Dell supplier to supply 3 laptops, and this is embedded in my document addressed to the Dell supplier who will deliver 3 laptops, because I have also mentioned in my letter that 20% or 20,000 amount has been sent, and also this is the transaction ID, and this is what happened, timestamp, date stamp, all will be embedded on the system and received. Now how do we authenticate? Ravinder concept is different now. That is a fraud that happened, but real transaction I am talking about. So this is what non-repudiating verification of the sender and the receiver, and that once confirmed, he releases the delivery, and once the delivery is received of the 3 laptops, 80% amount Jaker will be releasing. So this is the flow chart illustrating the process, end-to-end process. Please excuse me. Now, what are the different types of signatures? So it would be a little technical. They are symmetric as well as asymmetric. Symmetric is matching same. Asymmetric is unmatching. So symmetric is we have a symmetry, right? This is a symmetry. If we clap hands, all two will match. All two hands will match. This is symmetry. Asymmetry means this is asymmetry. It cannot match. But there is a algorithm in between. I create a asymmetric algorithm decrypting so that my reverse of my hand at the receiving end will turn it topsy turvy to match. You follow? Very beautiful example. So this is how it works: asymmetric, symmetric. Next, when to use each type. The degree of secure requirement calls for asymmetric. The degree of low level of transaction might be using. It depends upon all the circumstances and types of event, amount involved, and the context. So, but these are two ways of sending the digital signatures with the two types, symmetric and asymmetric. You can extrapolate to a table or a diagram which depicts symmetry and asymmetry. Okay, we have already discussed this, but we are really dealing the subject. What are the specific use cases of the digital signatures in e-commerce? I just told you order confirmation. I also just told you payment authorization. Just also told you in my letter that I have signed a contract and the contract was received by the Dell supplier in accepting my down payment, agreeing. So 1872 contract, 1872 Contract Act, offer, offerer, consideration. So offer is the Dell party has offered for supplying three laptops for 1 lakh. Offeree, offerer, offerer, offeree has been has accepted the offer of buying three laptops at the offered rate and paid the consideration for 20% or 20,000 amount. So this established the contract. So we have signed a contract. Now this is a digital contract. Digital contract is authorized by what? Digital signature. And the entire transaction happens over the net or over the globe. So you can imagine the third party involved, the transaction involved, the internet involved, the merchant banker involved, the house banker involved, the payer involved, the pay involved. So you can imagine. So it is the typical use cases in the e-commerce. Now comes okay. I've already mentioned, but at the same time, we are dealing the subject. What is that security and what is that digital signature came into prominence? Why? Integrity. Why? Oh, he's a man of integrity. Whatever he says is true. Likewise, a document is speaking for itself. Document is what? A contract signed and received, duly signed by the both the parties, deliverer and the receiver, or sender and the receiver. Receiver is Jacob, sender is the Dell company, and my contract has an integrity. Has an integrity. Who is signed? Dell is signed. Who are the parties? We two are the parties. So it has got integrity. Likewise, the data transform is conforming to integrity. There are various theorems, various frameworks where integrity is evaluated. Integrity is evaluated. That is he the right person? Is he the right person? These are all the things which checks the integrity of the two parties in transaction. Likewise, non-repudiation, I've just mentioned that unless until he does not accept and he denies, he has to accept that it is received. So, whenever somebody denies, he cannot afford to deny having received. So, that non-reputation. Authentic virtual private networks. How do we authenticate that unless until I recognize you? Okay, I'm an NCC cadet and worked in the Air Force also. Friend or foe? Immediately we raise the gun or we raise a pointer. Friend or foe? Identify yourself. Likewise, he authenticates. Yeah, like there are codes. Unless until he tells that code, we don't authenticate him across the fence. Otherwise, shoot at sight. Shoot at sight. Likewise, these are the things. Authentication calls for individual identification. It's a handshake. It has to happen. Only then transfer of amount, transfer of transaction, transfer of any credentials which take place. Now, a shield protecting the shopping cart. I still again recollect the VPN, virtual private network. So on the snooper, the one who is snooping into your conversation can afford to poke his nose into a VPN? No. This is what a secure transaction, and this is a shield of a communication channel well established by the sender and the receiver. 9:30. Okay. Now, what are the legal aspects of digital signature? Legal validity of digital signature. I told you there are keepers of digital certificates, digital signatures like THWAT and other agencies who retain and maintain our digital signatures at a cost. Okay. they have a legal validity. Like you are using Microsoft, you signed up with Microsoft to provide MS Office suite or suite, and they have a validity period. Every month, $139 or 139 rupees have to be paid in order to use Microsoft Office suite. After the month end, you will get a notice, or 2 days before the terminating period or expiry, you get a notice that your contract with us to offer MS Office suite is expiring by July 31st, right? So immediately you will be attentive and clear of the dues and continue to use the MS Office suite. Likewise, there is a legal validity for the digital signature also. Importance of compliance with the regulations. I have already impressed you about the regulatory requirements and the conformance thereto, while we as auditors, IT auditor, I am a CISA, Certified Information Systems Auditor, our main business is to see whether audit guidelines have been conformed to CONFORM, not conform to the rules. Game of the rule have to be followed, have to be complied with. Only then the regulatory requirements are met with. Likewise, a judge, after pronouncing the judgment, pounces the gavel on the uh, on the bench, so that it's an order, it's a dictum. Likewise, the compliance is such an effective rule which have to be confirmed. Okay. Why all this is to build the trust. And what are the agents and mediums? Medium is any internet transaction which makes sure it is transparent enough, it is assuring the identity of either of the parties and protecting the personal information. We'll take in the next workshop about DPDP Act, Data Privacy and Protection Act. But here we are sufficient enough to understand an e-commerce transaction is sufficiently transferred and transferred with transparency, transferred or transacted through a transparent medium, or transparent medium doesn't mean it is incidental to a snooper. No, transparent by the either of the parties. Assurance of the identity. Some Tom, Dick, and Harry identifies himself with a deep fake of Srinivas account. The actual perpetrator is Ravinder, but Jaikar is being misguided and entrapped, accepting this image and the talk as if Srinivas is talking and asking for the money. So it is this medium which assures the identity of personal information. Same way, like in 2012, against Google, I have raised an issue saying that you are forcing the subscriber to accept all. Why we should provide the contact details? Why we should disseminate our personal details to you? Later on, in the process, recently they have paid through the nose. When Jaikar was snooped, or bullied down, hey Jaikar, stop, don't talk about Google. They will sue you. No, no, no. In turn, it has a class action suit against Google, which they had to pay a heavy penalty for utilizing our private information. Yesterday, some gentleman was asking, "Sir, this is all happening." Yes, that is what exploitation. Unless until you accept all, your contacts also is visible. All things you keep on saying yes, yes, yes. Only then that app gets activated. No, that's very wrong of them. It is nothing but exploitation of the app user. You can, like cookies, right? You have the now, because of those regulations only, the cookie choice is being implemented now. If you go to any terms and conditions of cookie policy, just see, you can select selectively choose the cookies only for the performance, but globally say all cookies please accept all. That's also wrong, but there is an option, you are willingly clicking that. He's saved there. Okay, he's saved there that if he sues, then he will produce the screenshot that Jaker has clicked the check mark for all cookies to accept. So this is again you have to be cautioning the your client as an advocate or who are handling cyber crimes. Have you checked that those cookies? Have you checked those accept all contacts, photographs, your folders? These are all to be observed with high restraint and constraint, and don't just globally put a check mark to make them available. No, you are unnecessarily entrapping yourself and you are getting doomed. This is what you have to observe caution and inform your clients also that have you checked. There are rules to identify and come down to the petition, come down to the complaint as an informant. He has to divulge information. Have accepted cookies, have accepted these terms and conditions, have downloaded these apps, and these are the apps which are interacting with bank account. They penetrated or they protruded or they intruded into these accounts, and this information time and again I was getting a pop-ups. I was getting a SMS notice that somebody is intruding. Somebody like you get a pop-up in Gmail. Just change the password, you'll get an intimation. Just change the do one transaction, and you get because your email is registered email in your bank account. Immediately Gmail or whatever the host you are like Hotmail or Yahoo, whatever it may be, you are intimated, you are notified for any transactions in your account that have you done this transaction. If not, report the matter. You will get it. Likewise, this is the protection of personal information, protection of your online transaction, protection of your identity. So now end of the show, customer trust and digital signature. Ensure your authenticated transaction with due identity and with due assurance that you are happy go lucky as a shopping person. So you can understand any successful Amazon buying or anything. And back-end infrastructure is the digital signature of the seller and the buyer and the customer, whatever it may be. So you can understand the benefits of online transactions as well as the safety in terms of because Amazon also I wanted to sue in one case because yesterday one learned friend was saying, "Sir, FedEx scam." Okay, good. I'm also dealing one that now. It is premature to tell the uh, case number, but similar thing is happening live. As I already mentioned, that so intercontinental, like somebody is firing intercontinental ballistic missiles. I will show you a video uh, in due course that you will see cyber crimes happening across the continents. You'll have there are agencies who are monitoring and they picturize this cyber crimes happening across countries and continents. Next, where are we heading to? Why? See, from the emergence of and the requirement of secure transactions and adjudicating cyber crimes, IT Act was brought in. Likewise, now that we have evolved, 2024 we are in. Now, just going to the transparency and integrity of a particular transaction, each transaction has a riding horse. What is a riding horse? It has a stamp. What is the stamp? That stamp has to be identified at the receiving end. So that stamp is nothing but a blockchain transaction. So each transaction, each packet of information has a blockchain, and each blockchain is traveling in a sequence which should be numbered and encrypted with hash, and this hash nobody can break. That's why blockchain has come into prominence. Okay, that's one part. Now comes the authentication techniques. What are the authentication techniques? If I remove my eyes, I mean specs, you find my eye as an iris. What is that we are talking about? It's a biometric identity. And time and again, our palm, left hand thumb impression has fingerprint. My iris, this These are all particular to me. In the world, nobody can match my two identities. That is two-factor identification. Two-factor password, biometric. So user ID, password. Adding to that one biometric. In all state government offices, we are seeing at the evening, all in the morning they will come and put the thumb, and while going also they'll put the thumb. So it takes the information or catches the information of date information, time information, and the iris information, authenticating that the employee has come on time or gone in this time. So these are the biometric signatures. Now comes everybody started talking last 5 years or 7 years AI and machine learning. So that also progressed now. Earlier it was instruction based programs. Now actual intelligence is coming into picture, not only artificial. Now actual, like the circle is coming in a, like the I was talking about round robin technique also. The cycle has come full round. Earlier, there was just a imaginative digital world, and they thought with the neurons. So my MTech is also in AI. So neuron, tentacles, and neurons. These are all the ones which we wrote in algorithms. That this is the transaction processing happening in my brain, and the brain signals my hand to pick up a pen or click on a mouse. So this is artificial intelligence imbibed into my program so that I understand a sequence of operations which I coded in terms of rule, then an inference engine which interprets the rules and gives out an output. Likewise, a decision support system which I have designed way back, a decision support system will identify replacing the technology expert, um, cutting down the his travel charges, his consultancy charges, because he has told, given a rules of diagnosis that so and so symptoms will lead to this complexity. So and so rules which give these symptoms will lead to this part of the equipment to be troubleshooted. I have developed a troubleshooting expert system also. So these are the things. So AI not only helped replacing the costly consultants, doctors who are doing online consultation. What they are doing? Using AI. First, they will ask the certain questions of the patients across the globe behind the screen. And the patient narrates the symptoms. Did they see the patient? No. But the doctor has listened to only the symptoms. Immediately, these are medical transcriptions. Medical transcription. Immediately, these are digitized and converted into a text. These texts are fed to a computer. Very, very highly technology thing I am telling. This is a product. This technology, medical transcription outcome as a report is fed to a system. System is scanning. Simple. System is scanning. Disappears. These are the systems which I already told you way back in 99. Rule inferencing, inference engine. Rules. These translate into rules and matches with the symptoms. Oh, this guy is having cancer. How quick it is. How can you? Non-invasive procedures. What is the non-invasive? Have you seen the patient? No. Have you touched the patient? No. Have you talked to the patient? Yes. The conversation, the language is transcribed and fully digitized, and the digital information is sent to a scanner, and the scanner picks up the text out of it and compares to the rules which I have coded as a AI expert and AI engineer who roll the roots. These are the rules, and these are the rules to be correlated to these systems, and the disease is diagnosed. Disease to be diagnosed so easy, and after 5 minutes, he straight away comes. This guy is having a cancer. Now comes which part of the body is having cancer. That we can take it to later discussion. But this is the happening. Now comes machine learning. Okay, this is one patient. Now, what happens to a, I am from BHL. So what happens to a turbine generator and auxiliary pump? Now, I got an order from NTPC that produce 5 megawatt motor or the what is it? Kalashram are 65 megawatt motors and pumps. So how many? Three are required. Do you think 65 megawatt water, motor pump can take 1 or 2, 3 days? No, 65 megawatt means that uploading several cubic metric of waters, cubic TMC. Okay, so TMCs have to be lifted. So it is not an easy job. So extrapolating that to say Honda, you have an order for Honda Civic. Honda Civic, 5 orders have come.
Sir,
Delivery has to be given. There is a cycle time.
can
Yes,
you please
madam.
screen off? ఒకసారి స్క్రీన్ ఆఫ్ చేయరా?
Okay. Okay. I stopped sharing.
Yes, sir. You please carry on.
Continue, madam. Should
Yes,
I
sir.
continue?
Can. Yes, sir. And
Okay.
you just to watch the time. It's 9:40.
9:45. Should I come back to screen or not?
You carry on, but you just watch the time and how much time will you take further?
4, madam. One more slide, I guess.
In fact, we have not. Those slides are not visible to us till
I
date.
just stopped sharing, madam. I stopped sharing.
But that is they are not visible to us till now.
No, no, no. I was sharing all the time.
No. Actually, those slides are not visible.
Oh.
We just listening to your lecture.
No, 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 no. I was sharing, madam. I have shared. You have given me presentation and I was sharing.
But it is showing that nothing is there in the file.
No, no, no. See, madam.
You please
Host has
again
disabled. Host
you
has disabled. Host
now
has
I
disabled.
disabled. Now I disabled because of some issue. Now
Okay,
you are
let's.
co-host. You please try to reshare. It shows that nothing is there.
Now, am I sharing? My slide is visible.
No,
I've shared, madam.
but it is not visible. You do one thing first.
Okay, let
You open
I'll do.
your screen in your computer, then share. Then it will come. You are sharing our lecture. This is the yes. Now it is visible. Make it full screen, sir. This the right what right. Yes. Yes, sir. If possible, conclude as soon as possible, sir. You are muted. Kindly unmute. Unmute yourself. In fact, in the class, it is in live. That's why I'm not able to talk. Some
Okay.
unknown person have come into. and doing some nuisance. You please carry on.
Okay, okay. Now I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have covered e-commerce and common challenges in e-commerce. We have covered fraud. We have covered security breaches and the trust issues. We have defined what is a digital signature and how digital signature works and the prominence and importance of digital signatures in e-commerce. So we can imagine a padlock with a key, and he is the one who has authority to open the padlock, and who are the owner of the key. And we have talked about public key infrastructure, where a private key and a public key is involved, and a message is encrypted and decrypted at the receiving end using the private key of the party sender. Likewise, the definition of digital signature, then key benefits of digital signature, how does it enhance security, how faster the transactions are enabled due to the technology using digital signatures, then how does it reduce the cost, and what are the legal compliances, and we have discussed this in elaborate, and you can imagine balance scale with the security on one side and efficiency on the other to extrapolate our understanding and thinking over the importance and benefits of the digital signature. Then, what is the infrastructure and the backend process behind the digital signature is hashing, and I explained about the hashing algorithm. And what happens in understanding the hashing technology is encryption and decryption, and how verification, authentication, non-repudiation have been discussed, and understanding through a flowchart illustrating the process has been covered. What are the digital type of different types of digital signatures? We have covered about asymmetry and symmetry. I demonstrated through my own hand, saying that two hands can match, and two hands also in a reverse matching using an algorithm also can be matched, and that is the asymmetric way of communicating and authenticating. So when to use each type, it covers the importance and the context, how and when these asymmetric and symmetric digital signatures have to be used, and that can be extrapolated comparing to a table or a diagram. Now, what how digital signatures can be protruded or proclaimed or exemplified using use cases is typical order confirmation, which I have told, exemplifying an order to place three Dell laptops, and me buying after down payment of 20,000 and the balance being paid after the confirmation. And we talked about the digital contract, and we leveraged on 1872 Indian contract also, when offeree and offer is accepted and a consideration is duly paid. Likewise, these digital contracts also are signed. I didn't mention about the smart contracts, which is out of the scope now, but at the same time, today we are dealing with the smart contracts. So now these are the typical use cases. So then, how does it help? Digital signatures enhance the e-commerce security by maintaining the integrity, because the triad of the information systems, IT security, calls for confirmation, sorry, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are the triad of information security. Likewise, digital signature ensures the data integrity, and the receiving side is held by the non-repudiation concept, and each of them authenticate each of them to transact their business in sending and receiving. I also mentioned about virtual private network as a shield over these transactions happening in a private channel. Typically, a shopping cart will be protecting by a shield. Now comes the legal validity of the digital signatures. So I round up with agencies who maintain, who produce, and give and sell digital signatures, and at a price, and they have a validity period, And I have also exemplified through our own Microsoft Office suite, which we pay monthly as a rental or as a terms and conditions. And before the expiry, they send us a notice and we clear the dues. Likewise, I have exemplified about the compliance with the regulatory requirements. And I, as a certified information systems auditor, a platinum consultant, what we do in our real-time affairs and real-time audit, IT audit engagements, I have exemplified and told about my own IT audits, which I have done in America using the PCI framework and the DSS concepts. So, payment card industry is like mostly Visa and Mastercard, which we have dealt till the emergence of UPI. Likewise, any dictum is like in our day-to-day affairs, a gavel and a legal document holds good. Once a dictum, when a gavel is banged, so end of it, and it has to sustain and it has to live up to its order. Likewise, how could digital signature build a customer trust? This also was discussed using the concept of transparency, assurance of the identity of each of the parties in picture, and the protection of personal information. While I made a passing remark on the Data Protection and Privacy Act, which need to be dealt on a different session or a different workshop, where its importance has come into prominence over the European GDPR Act and rules, because any internet transactions landing or emerging out of Europe is governed by GDPR, and any landing in India is governed by DPDP Act. Likewise, a happy customer, once done and gets or delivered his ordered goods, is a happy customer and with a happy shopping bag. So I've also showcased our successful e-commerce benefits using the digital signatures, highlighting the benefits and the results. So I've also broached on blockchain, which is the advanced technology, which is the ruling the roost now over internet transactions, whose hash can never be decrypted, and it's highest security with highest security as of now. But other security algorithms also I know MD5 and RSA, named after the like the three inventors way back in 1971, Rivest, Shamir, and Adelman. So that is RSA algorithm, and message digest 5 is also in vogue, which encrypt the document, and secure algorithms are used so that the information out of the data is protected well. I also broached the subject of authentication in terms of biometric signatures. I pointed out iris. I pointed out the uh, fingerprint on available on our thumbs, mostly LTI or RTI, whatever it may be, left hand thumb impression. So these are all the other modes and methods of authentication in individual and a transaction over the net. So, and that also I mentioned the current state government, who is installing and installed various biometric signatures or biometric authentication over the employee attendance monitoring, and stamped with the date, time, and identity of the individual or an employee. I also told about AI and machine learning, citing the example of decision support systems, and also talked about machine learning in producing mass scale turbines, generators, as well as quoted and cited Honda, which is a car manufacturer. Like five Honda Civics have to be delivered overnight, or if not, or a contracted period. The machine will learn once one sequence of operation, one completely knocked down kit is fully assembled. It is learned by the machine, and all you need to do give the broken pieces or knockdown kit, entire kit before the robots. The robots will pick up the semi knockdown kits or fully knockdown kits, assemble in a jiffy, and the order is fulfilled. One second. Now, futuristic concept related to e-commerce security. Now, call for action. This is the last but one slide. Encourage audience to adopt digital signatures, like any e-commerce transactions. Better use the digital signature so that your transaction is ensured of its integrity as its security. That's it. Many sites can be provided, and contact information will be called up, and you're always on the call monitoring. Typical, like in Amazon, if you buy an item, you are provided a link to track the delivery and the shipment. So likewise, you have information and digital signature. Sorry, as an embedded as function is monitored and it can be tracked. And I have also cited steganography, which was used by Osama bin Laden before he was tracked, where his code was embedded in a picture or a graphic mail message, mime or meme was sent, which the snoopers discovered and smelled a rat and could identify where his coordinates in terms of latitudes as well as longitudes, and they could pinpoint and catch that fellow and take him to task. This is what uh, with to do with digital signatures and e-commerce. And these are my credentials. I am Jacob. I am available on WhatsApp in 833-833-190-2896, and my email ID is this. So I conclude the session today. Any questions may be forwarded in the chat box, where Sridevi madam will take the liberty of collating them and passing on to me. And any other further doubts or any questions or concerns may be reflected to the numbers provided or email provided. And in coordination with Sridevi madam, we'll address them, redress them in the next coming sessions. Thank you very much for your kind patience and attentive listening. And you can, madam, you can throw open the mutes unmuted so that mics can be active now, so that we can exchange some notes or exchange some reflections, so
Yes, sir.
that each stand to gain. Thank you very much, madam.
Please stop the sharing. And now we have but sir, CV but sir in the line. You
Oh, very
just
good. Very